everyone, welcome back to True Crime Files with Kathy. Housekeeping rules, could you please like, subscribe and share? That's all I ask. If everyone that watched my channel clicked subscribe, then I would be well away, because I'm not monetized at the moment because I only started about 5 weeks ago. But that awful plane crash at LaGuardia in New York, one passenger speaks out how terrifying it was. I can't imagine how it must feel to be in a plane crash, train crash, or even a car crash. Come close to it, but it must be absolutely devastating and terrible, and dreams made of horrors. But, you know, on my last video I did about the 2 press conferences, one of the flight attendants who was seatbelted right behind where the pilots are, she was thrown like 300 feet away from the aircraft. And yes, she's got fractures and broken bones, but the only reason why she's alive is because she was seatbelted. Now, I know when you get on planes, they always tell you to seatbelt up, but some people don't. But it just goes to show that seatbelts are there to be used, and they're there to save your life as well. So I shall just go on to this one.
Who was on board at the time of the crash was a former News 12 employee.
And she's joining us right now, actually, to talk about what is just such a scary situation. Rebecca.
Let me go back. I thought it was up on the screen. Right. So stop sharing and start again. Oh, good job it's not Friday the 13th, isn't it? Right, so now what's happening? Oh, something else I was doing. A minute.
Former News 12 employee.
And she's joining us right now, actually, to talk about what is just such a scary situation. Rebecca LaGuardia. Rebecca, thank you so much. I just cannot even imagine. So I will just ask you to describe what those moments were like.
So right before the crash, as we were descending, the flight attendant said something very eerie that I normally have never heard before landing. She said, in case of an emergency landing, do not grab your luggage. And everybody was like, okay. And then as we were descending, we hit a lot of turbulence. So she said, please, everyone, the pilot is saying for everyone to keep your seatbelts on. We're hitting a lot of turbulence. And then we landed very roughly. It was a rough landing. Like when we landed, everyone felt it. It just like the plane like jolted, and you heard the pilot try to brake, like he was trying to prevent the collision that occurred. And as you heard the brake, you just, a couple seconds later, it was just a very loud boom, and everybody just jolted out of their seats. People hit their heads. People were bleeding. I was sitting in the emergency row, and I was right next to the emergency exit, but I was waiting for guidance from like flight crew. But that didn't happen because they were in the front of the plane. And as you know, the front of the plane was extremely damaged. I didn't realize that. So I'm asking everyone around me if they're okay. And then one of the passengers screamed to me like, please open the exit door. And I was like, of course. So we opened the exit door, and there was no slide for us. A lot of people slid off of the wing of the plane getting out. And then by the time I got out, there was emergency personnel, and someone was able to assist me sliding off of the wing. And once we got off of the wing, they had us standing next to an emergency vehicle. And that's when we were able to see the extensive damage of the plane, on top of people just like bleeding and bumps and bruises. It was a very harrowing scene. We were all emotional, and it was just very scary. It happened so quickly. But I will say everyone on the plane was helping each other. There was nobody like stampeding over anybody. Everybody collectively worked together to get out of the plane. And I mean, everyone was very traumatized because we know that the pilots unfortunately didn't make it, and the flight attendant was seriously injured, in addition to the fireman in the truck. So it was just a very scary scene, and it was a long night because our flight kept getting delayed for different reasons. We were supposed to depart at 8:30, and then it was like a 15 to 20 minute interval of delays until we finally boarded at around like shortly after 10, and the plane crash happened around like right before 11:30 p.m. And then we were at the airport for quite some time. I didn't get home till close to 5.
Rebecca, obviously you're talking to us now, and we should mention also that Rebecca, when she left News 12, she left to become a nurse. So you are the right person to be in that emergency row. You are the right person to stay calm in that situation. Having said that, are you okay? Are your loved ones okay? Did anyone you know have to go to the hospital? Or did anyone get injured that you know?
So I was flying alone. I actually flew to Canada. It was a 1-day trip for my cousin's baby shower. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come home and it's going to be simple. I was able to stay calm in the situation. I didn't realize I had my family members. I had my husband, my mother, and my brother set up as emergency contacts in case anything happens. And my iPhone actually alerted all 3 of them right as the crash happened that they got an emergency text saying Rebecca LaGuardia has been detected to be in a crash. They got sent my location. So my husband was actually on the way to come pick me up, and he was calling me after he got the text. And he was like, this is crazy. God wouldn't do this to me. My wife has to be okay. And I wasn't picking up. He called me like 3 to 4 times. But when he called me, it was around the time that I was getting out of the plane. And so by the time I called him back, the only thing I said to him was, yes, I was in a plane crash and I'm safe. Right now, I am in pain from my neck down to like my knees. My legs are sore. Everything is sore just from the impact of us being thrusted forward. So because I was away from my children, I want to see them before they go to school this morning. And then I'm going to go get checked out at the ER just to make sure everything's okay, because like even breathing is a little painful. I feel bruising from the seatbelt that I had on just from the impact and the seatbelt being just on my skin. So I'm just happy to be alive. I'm thankful that I get to kiss my sons this morning before they go to school. And I just, I wouldn't have never pictured a 1-hour flight that I've done countless times because I had family that lives in Montreal ending like this in such a fatality, and just getting an update that it was the worst plane crash in the last 50 years at LaGuardia. It's like, wow. I came home and I tried to go to sleep, but my heart was racing. So I decided to get up and just get into mom mode and start packing lunch and doing things just to keep my mind busy. Because every time I tried to close my eyes, I could hear the crash. I could hear the other passengers screaming. I could hear everyone asking, are you okay? It just really feels surreal that I survived it and I'm able to come home and just see my family. That's such an underrated blessing that I just feel like I'm very incredibly blessed.
Well, Rebecca, I mean, our hearts are racing for you. Everything that you're describing, truly lucky to be alive for sure. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
And Rebecca, I just want to say from all of us here at News 12 who worked with you over the years, and obviously you need to get checked out and make sure you do that. But we're so happy that you're okay and you are going to be able to be with your family. And everyone still talks so fondly of you here. We understand that you went to a different career, but we miss you. We're glad you're okay. And thank you for joining us. We do.
Of course, I love my News 12 family. I miss you guys. I'm so, this is not the way that I would have wanted to be reunited with you guys, but I am grateful to just, like I said, be alive. That's just the blessing in itself.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Rebecca.
No problem.
So, as you can see, she is very, very lucky. I hope you saw that. I'll have to go back and check. Did you? Well, I can't ask you because I'm not live. Hopefully, you all saw the interview. If not, you just saw me for the last 10 minutes. But how lucky is she? You know, I can't imagine how I would feel like being in a crash. Planes make me nervous anyway. You know, it just does. It really makes me feel nervous because they're big machines and they're flying fast. You know, so well done for her for speaking out, and I'm glad she's safe. And I'm sure over the next few days we'll get many more interviews. But this was the first one I've seen, so I thought I will do this one. I won't do every single one, but or if I do, I might do it in like one after another, so the feed's a lot longer. So thank you again for taking your time to watch my video. I am mainly true crime, but I am putting my own little niche out there of covering other stories that I think I like. So it's not what I think everyone else likes, it's what I'm into. So anything from like the B-52 bombers flying off from Fairfield, which is just around the corner from where I live, we get them, you know, when they're flying in and out of Fairfield, they literally fly over my bungalow. And the noise is harrowing. It really is. And it's not very nice when they land or come in at 4:30 in the morning and the whole bungalow shakes. I can remember when I first came to my little town, I didn't realise the B-52's flight path was right over the bungalow. And I was sat down in the evening watching a film or something. And we hadn't been here very long. And all of a sudden, this horrendous noise came over. The bungalow was shaken, literally shaken. And that made me scared, you know. So I sort of like grabbed my phone because I thought, right, if I need to make a leg for it, because I thought it was a plane crashing. So I thought, if I need to leg it, at least I got my phone. That's got my banking details on it, so I can still buy things. So yeah, so it was just horrendous. And then when I got outside my front door, I saw how low this plane was flying. And well, I know there must have been a huge gap, but from where I was stood, it didn't look like there was much gap between our room and we live right opposite school as well. So it looked like it was going to, you know, crash land. I was literally shaking scared. And then when I put it on our local Facebook group, they said, oh yeah, you'll get that all the time. I was thinking, oh my God, my heart's going to die. My nerves are already shattered from this one. And my son came home from work, told him about it. And then the next morning, about 4:30 in the morning, it happened again. But for some amazing thing, I slept through it. It didn't wake me up. And when I did wake up, Jamie said, I think a B-52 flew over. He goes, the bungalow was shaken. I goes, oh yeah, now you know how I feel. So yeah, it's crazy. And you know, anything that comes in and out of Fairford, they're right on our flight path. So we get to see it. We get to see the red arrows. At the end of my path is a school field. Right, a distance from there is a college, and they often have the red arrows doing a display for them. So if I can find that video, I might upload it. But I can just walk literally to the end of my garden path and see the red arrows and that. So it is quite interesting. Right, thank you all. And please remember to like and subscribe and share. Many thanks for you watching. See you now.